As we finish up the book of Joel, I want to take you back to the last verse of Joel chapter 2 that says, "And it shall come to pass that everyone who calls on the name of the Lord shall be saved. For in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem there shall be those who escape, as the Lord has said, and among the survivors shall be those whom the Lord calls." And then I want to fast forward all the way to 3:17. "And so you shall know that I am the Lord your God, who dwells in Zion, the holy mountain, and in Jerusalem shall be holy, and strangers shall not pass again through it." One of the things that we see is two parallel texts in the chapter. The first is what Jesus says in the Gospels about separating the sheep from the goats. People who had lip service towards God, wore the title of Christian, walked the walk, talked the talk, but were whitewashed tombs. They really weren't serving God, they were serving themselves. They had a religion about God, not a relationship with Him. And He does differentiate between the two. And then you have this group of people being placed with the rest of the world and being told, hey, Armageddon is here. The end of times, the revelation aspect is here. And since you're my enemy, you better arm yourself because there's about to be a fight between us. And because you had all of your life to reconcile this difference between us, and I did everything I could to reconcile this difference between us, you're out of time. And if Paul thought that the end of days was drawing near and we were living in the last days 2,000 years later, I can only imagine that we're living in the last hours, the last minutes probably. So the time is now. Today, if you hear the voice of the Lord, do not harden your hearts as they did in the wilderness, but listen to God. Hear His call, repent. Because the consequences of not repenting is destruction. And if you're just a lip service, weak-willed Christian who is following the way of the world instead of following Christ with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and all your strength, He's going to separate you out. And just as chaff gets winnowed away from the wheat, so you will be winnowed away from heaven, from a relationship with God. And that is a risk too great to take, especially if you call yourself a Christian. Thank you guys. Have a good day. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask.